Hello friends, and welcome back to another episode of Spilling Studio. My name is Sam, and this week we have 7 ARE practice questions designed to help you pass your next exam. We have one question per exam topic and a bonus question at the end, so stick around. First up is practice management. According to AIA document B101, which of the following insurances is the architect required to maintain? Check all that apply. Professional liability, property insurance, automobile liability, general liability, personal injury protection, workers' compensation. Feel free to pause here to answer. And the answer is professional liability, automobile liability, general liability, and workers' compensation. As stated in the question, this comes straight from AIA document B101. If you all are studying for practice management, it's super important to read B101, A101, and A201. Most of the test is on AIA contracts, so please read them before heading into your exam. I promise they're not that long. They are a little boring, but it's worth it. I have links to sample PDFs in the description, so go download those and read through them. So, professional liability insurance is also sometimes called malpractice insurance or errors and omissions insurance. It protects the architect if their actions causes injury or property damages due to mistakes on drawings or specifications, as well as negligence. Automobile liability covers vehicles owned by the firm and those used for business. It also protects the firm from claims by employees who use their vehicles for business. I have a friend who got in an accident on the way to a project site for a site visit, and the firm's insurance covered the cost of fixing the car since it was used for business. She was very surprised and grateful she didn't have to go through her own insurance. And I was also surprised because I was still studying for my exams and I didn't know that this was something that your firm would cover. General liability covers a larger range against claims of property damage, liability, and personal injury, not just by the architect, but those employed or consultants hired by the architect. If you've had a service industry job, then I'm sure you've heard of workers' compensation. It's mandatory in all states and protects employees if they're injured while working. These next two types of insurance are not required by B101, but many architects have them. They are property insurance and personal injury protection. Property insurance is not required since some architects may not have an office. Property insurance protects the architect's office and the office contents in the event of a fire, flood, or theft, even if the office is rented. Personal injury protection protects against slander, libel, defamation, misrepresentation, and other torts, which is a fancy word for civil wrongs. Now on to project management. The completion date for a new office building is very important to the owner. What provision should be included in AIA document A101? Liquidated damages, retainage, privity, or betterment? Pause here to answer. And the answer is liquidated damages. Liquidated damages are not required in A101, but can be included. Most projects I've worked on do include liquidated damages, which requires the contractor to pay the owner a fee for every day the project is late. This date is based on substantial completion. This consequence really pushes contractors to finish the project on time. I'm sure you've heard from friends or relatives who renovate some part of their house complaining about how long construction is taking, or how they may go to the house to check and see how work is coming along and find that there are no contractors on site. Well, if this provision was in their contract, it would prevent that situation. I'm sure if the contractors had to pay every day they were late, there's no way they wouldn't be working on that house renovation. Next up is programming and analysis. According to the adjacency matrix below, what must the living room be next to? The kitchen, patio, bedroom, or guest room? Pause here to answer. The correct answer is patio. An adjacency matrix is used during programming to help the architect locate spaces near other spaces that share a functional relationship. It also assigns hierarchy and importance to each space. So how do you read this thing? Well, first locate the living room. Where each angle line is, you follow that diagonally in both directions, so up and down. These are highlighted in blue. The filled circles show mandatory adjacency, and the open circles show secondary adjacencies. You'll find the one solid circle in the blue, and then you just follow that diagonal down, which is highlighted in pink, and that leads you to your answer, patio. Our question for project planning is, you are tasked with designing a new public library that promotes sustainable design principles. What strategies can you incorporate into the design to enhance the library's environmental performance and contribute to its long-term sustainability? Specify materials with high embodied energy to ensure durability and longevity. Design the library with ample windows to maximize natural daylighting and reduce the need for artificial lighting. Include a large surface parking lot to accommodate more visitors and minimize traffic congestion. Opt for a complex HVAC system to offer greater control over individual room temperatures. Pause to answer. And the answer is, design the library with ample windows to maximize natural daylighting and reduce the need for artificial lighting. Let's go through each of these options. So the first one with high embodied materials is not sustainable. High embodied energy and material indicates a greater environmental impact during manufacturing and transportation, which goes against sustainability goals. The next one, a large parking lot, will contribute to increased impervious surfaces, which means solid surfaces, potentially leading to environmental issues such as water runoff and the heat island effect. This will actually hurt rather than improve the surrounding environment. Our next option is a complex HVAC system for greater control. Here, the term complex HVAC system might imply higher energy use and maintenance. Sustainable design often encourages simpler, energy-efficient HVAC solutions that prioritize occupant comfort while minimizing environmental impact. So our correct answer is ample windows with natural daylighting. Using a good amount of windows in the design allows for increased natural light penetration, which can reduce the need for artificial lighting during daylight hours. This not only promotes energy efficiency, but also contributes to the well-being of occupants by providing a connection to the outdoors. A brief pause here to remind you that I post new questions every week, so please hit that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss out on a video. It also really helps me out, so thank you. Now on to project development. You are the lead architect for a renovation project involving the conversion of an existing warehouse into a mixed-use space with retail on the ground floor and residential units on the upper floors. During the construction document phase, which of the following considerations is critical to address for the compliance with zoning regulations? Selection of interior finishes and color schemes, detailed specifications for HVAC systems, floor plans indicating compliance with allowable uses, building heights, and setbacks, or structural details for reinforcement of the existing foundation. Pause to answer. And the correct answer is floor plans indicating compliance with allowable uses, building heights, and setbacks. This option is the most critical consideration for compliance with zoning regulations. Zoning regulations dictate how a property can be used and its physical characteristics, including allowable uses, building heights, setbacks from property lines, and other site-specific requirements. It is very important to ensure that a project's plans align with these zoning regulations to obtain the necessary approvals and permits. A little history fact for you: the first ever zoning ordinance was passed in New York in 1916 to improve issues with rapidly expanding cities. Before zoning, there was overcrowding and factories being built right next to houses and taller buildings located next to smaller buildings that blocked natural light. So zoning is here to make cities more enjoyable for everyone. The other three options, color schemes, HVAC systems, and structural details, are not considered in zoning. Although color schemes do not relate to zonings, in some cities or towns, especially in historic districts, they may have regulations on the colors and material used on the exterior of the building. HVAC systems and structural details may be reviewed during permitting for life safety requirements, but are not critical in zoning. Next up is construction evaluation. During the construction phase of a commercial building project, the contractor discovers that the installed structural members do not match the specified dimensions in the construction documents. The project specifications clearly outline the required dimensions for the structural steel. What is the architect's primary responsibility in this situation? Instruct the contractor to proceed with the installation as planned, as minor deviations are acceptable. Issue a clarification to the specifications to accommodate the actual dimensions of the installed structural steel. Notify the owner of the discrepancy and recommend corrective action to bring the construction in compliance with the specified dimensions. Consult with the structural engineer to determine if the installed steel dimensions meet the project's safety and load-bearing requirements. Pause to answer. And the correct answer is to notify the owner of discrepancy and recommend corrective action to bring the construction in compliance with specified dimensions. In this scenario, the architect's primary responsibility is to communicate the discrepancy to the owner and recommend corrective action to ensure the construction aligns with the specified dimensions outlined in the project documents. This response prioritizes transparency with the owner and adherence to the established design and safety requirements. AIA document A201 states that any work failing to conform with the contract documents must be corrected by the contractor. It doesn't matter if it's already been fabricated, installed, or completed, it still needs to be corrected. And the cost of correcting the work, including the cost of the architect's services for recommendations to correct the work, are to be covered by the contractor. Now, A201 also states that the owner can accept non-conforming work if they wish to, but a reduction in the contract sum will be given to the owner. In this scenario, there is an issue with structural members, which may have life safety implications. If that is the case, then the work would need to be corrected. Last but not least, our bonus question is, as the principal architect of a small firm, you are developing a strategic plan to enhance the firm's business performance. Which of the following elements should be included in the strategic plan to effectively address long-term goals and ensure the firm's success? Day-to-day project management tasks and responsibilities, short-term financial projections and budget allocations, marketing initiatives and client acquisition strategies, or employee training programs focused on immediate skill development. Pause here to answer. And the answer is marketing initiatives and client acquisition strategies. To get this one right, you just need to pull from the question. You should be able to deduce the answer without knowing about ways to make a firm more successful. The key words in this question are business performance, strategic plan, and long-term goals. So let's go through this one by one. While day-to-day project management is essential, it is more operational and tactical in nature. Strategic planning focuses on broader, long-term objectives. Short-term financial projections and budgeting are important for immediate financial stability, but they may not address the overall long-term vision and growth of the firm. Employee training is valuable, but is more operational and may not directly address the firm's overall long-term goals and strategic direction. Also, this choice uses the word immediate, which already tells you it's not focusing on long-term goals. So that leaves us with the correct answer of marketing initiatives and client acquisition strategies. When developing a strategic plan for a small architectural firm, marketing incentives and client acquisition strategies are crucial elements for addressing long-term goals and ensuring the firm's success. Long-term success depends on acquiring and retaining clients. Implementing effective client acquisition strategies helps in securing new projects and sustaining a steady workflow over time. Marketing initiatives are also important since developing a strong brand presence can enhance the firm's visibility and reputation in the market. This in turn contributes to attracting potential clients and differentiates the firm from its competitors. That's our questions for this week. Remember to check out the description for links to some of the AIA contracts covered in this video. I've also linked some of my favorite study books, so go check those out. Let me know in the comments what subject areas you're struggling with, and I'll do my best to cover it in the next video. Thank you all for joining. Please subscribe, and good luck on your next exam. You got this.